Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Shakayla. I create and share delicious plant-based recipes and inspiration. If you're returning, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. In today's video, we are getting into how to make my delicious plant-based breakfast sandwiches. We got an English muffin, we got a homemade plant-based breakfast sausage patty, and we have a tofu egg. This recipe has over 30 grams of protein in it, which is very important to me because I'm really focused on getting in a good amount of protein throughout the day. So having these to start my day is perfect. I actually meal prepped these for myself maybe a month or so ago because I wanted to test out the plant-based breakfast sausage patty recipe, and I wanted to make a few tweaks. And I did it. And it is so delicious. The breakfast patties are packed with pea protein crumbles, mushrooms, and walnuts. If you're not a fan of either of those, I do have a mushroom and walnut meat recipe video on here that kind of talks through potential substitutions that you can use for your mushroom and walnut meat. So I'll link that in the description box so you can give it a try. So we're gonna get into this video. I'm about to go enjoy at least one of these. I'm gonna put the rest of it in the refrigerator for me to have for the rest of the week. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we're starting off by making the tofu egg patty, and I'm starting with the tofu egg patty first because I want this to marinate and I need the tofu to absorb as much flavor as possible. So I'm going in with nutritional yeast, turmeric, that's for added color, curry powder. This is new. I recently started adding curry powder to my tofu marinade and I've been enjoying it. So I would recommend adding that. Also went in with smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, kalonamic, which is also known as black salt. This is a spice that gives dishes an egg-like flavor. You can find it at your local international market or you can order it online. And then we're also going to add a little over 1 cup of water. And the goal here is to create a marinade for the tofu. We're gonna slice up some organic extra firm tofu. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't eat soy-based tofu, you can do this with a soy-free version of tofu. So I've done it with pumpkinseed tofu as well as fava bean tofu. I'll link both of those in the description box just to show you which brands I've used in the past that are soy-free in case you want to use them. So now we're gonna allow the tofu to marinate. I would recommend marinating it for a minimum of about an hour or so. It's not required, but I just think that it helps the tofu absorb more of that flavor, because if you know anything about tofu, it does not have any flavor. So I actually let mine marinate in the fridge overnight. So if you have time to do so, I would recommend doing that, but at a minimum of an hour. Moving on to our breakfast sausage. Right now I'm combining all the seasonings that I'll be using for the sausage. So I'm going in with onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, fennel seeds, ground sage, salt, and black pepper. Now the seasonings that I'm using, I think they are crucial to the flavor that I've been able to achieve. However, if there is a seasoning that maybe you're not a fan of, you can't eat. For example, I've gotten some requests on salt-free recipes. Feel free to omit anything from this recipe that you're not a fan of and replace it with what you typically go with when cooking. And now it's time to combine everything for the breakfast sausage. I'm gonna be using my blender because my food processor isn't large enough to hold everything. So this can kind of show you that, hey, if you don't have a food processor, you can make it work with a blender. Just put it on like a pulse function where you're not blending it to create a paste or a liquid. So I went in with some soaked walnuts, baby bella mushrooms, rolled oats, those diced onions you saw me preparing, liquid smoke, milled flax seeds, nutritional yeast. My source of protein in here is pea protein crumbles. I'll link the two that I enjoy using in the description box, but I like to add it because it can give additional protein to this breakfast patty. I also went in with garlic cloves, tomato paste, coconut aminos, and a bit of maple syrup. Now I know this doesn't look the prettiest, but I'm telling you, it'll taste good. After adding the seasoning, I would recommend just tasting it a bit to see if there are any changes that you want to add. Maybe you want some additional salt, maybe you want some more garlic powder. You know, just customize it to your liking. Pro tip, use the ice cream scooper. It just helps you have the same amount of mixture in each patty. And then also I would recommend when you're flattening the patties out, to avoid just a bunch of mess on your hand, use a piece of parchment paper to flatten them out. And I almost forgot to mention, you can find the recipe for this entire breakfast sandwich linked in the description. I'm spraying mine with a bit of oil. If you would prefer not to use the oil, that's okay. They'll still turn out great. We're gonna put these in the oven for about 25 minutes on 350 degrees. Be sure to flip them over halfway so that they brown evenly on both sides. Now that the sausages are done, I'm gonna cook up my tofu egg patty by just transferring the tofu along with some of that marinade into a large skillet. I cooked them until most of the liquid has been absorbed within the tofu, but I would say give it about 5 to 6 minutes and flip it over halfway through. Now the only thing left to do is assemble our breakfast sandwiches. Again, I'm using an English muffin, but you can also do this with toasted bread, a bagel, a wrap. It is completely up to you now that you know how to make the tofu egg patty as well as the sausages. I went in with a slice of vegan cheese, which of course is completely optional. I would recommend adding anything like a jam or a mayo or some type of spread once you're actually sitting down to enjoy these, just to make sure that the bread doesn't get too soggy. I made enough of these to get me through the work week, so it's going to be great to just take these out of the refrigerator, either pop them in the air fryer or the microwave to warm them up. So that's how I make my protein-packed breakfast sandwiches. These are so good. Previously, I meal prepped them for like a week straight and they were good. The patty recipe got me about 12 patties and I'm only using 4 this week. So the rest of them, I'm just gonna put in the freezer. They held up really well in the freezer last time. I just took them out the freezer, popped them in the microwave, warmed them up with my sandwich, and I was good to go. On my sandwich, I plan to warm it up, put down some jam. I'm gonna get some grape jelly. It's about to be so good. Again, feel free to customize these however you like. Go without the vegan cheese if you want, add the vegan cheese, add onions, mushrooms, whatever you want to do. You can fully customize these to your liking. This is just how I like to make it, but I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the recipe, and I will see you in the next one.